What's up, guys? It's John Dominique, the Soul Proponent. Today, I want to talk about the magnitude of the soul. I want to express how epic of a miracle the soul is. Recently, I was on one of these online forums, and I was speaking to an atheist about the matter of value and his belief. And I guess this is where most people are coming from in this world who don't know anything about the epicness of the soul, was that value comes from humans, that it's subjective. And what he proposed was that humans don't have any value. It's basically what he was saying. But at the same time, he was saying the only value we do have is based on what humans give value towards. So humans give value, subjectively speaking, to whatever they think is valuable. That's one way to see it. Now, the problem with that is often that's a dead end. We think that's it. Basically, the only value we have is what we can pretend that has value, and we pretend to give value to what we think is valuable. And that's it. That's the end of the story. I'm here to propose that's not the end, it's a beginning. When I say the soul is an epic miracle, a miracle of epic proportions, it blows that idea right out of the water, that our value, that we have no value as humans, that our value is only subjective, our value only comes from what we pretend has value. The reason that that's not a true statement is because people don't know any better. They don't know the soul. They don't know the truth. The truth is that value is self-pervasive. It's self-existing. It's everywhere. We are of value. We're one with infinite and eternal value. That's the truth. But we won't be able to realize that truth unless we take the path to the soul and make the realization. In order to do that, we're going to have to go through the process of spiritual awakening, and that goes through annihilation of the identity. And that's where everybody turns their back, because it's more important that we don't see the entire truth. It's more important that we survive. It's more important that we hold on to our beliefs. It's more important that we hold on to the dead ends that we're believing, the dead end that we have no value. It's so important that there's nothing more than that, that's the end, that we're willing to fight to the death for it. We don't know any better. We don't think there's anything else out there that has value. There's no other way it can be. It's basically the way we think about it. There's no other way it can be. But the soul is a miracle of epic proportions. It blows that theory right out of the water, easily, quickly. So the ego identity, the personality, its whole basis is based on, its whole identity, its whole foundation is based on the idea that it has no value. There's no value anywhere. And it's trying to avoid the feeling of not having any value, of being worthless. It's trying to avoid feeling in the entirety of its vulnerability. If it had to let go of the beliefs that it's worthless, if it had to let go of its beliefs, all of its beliefs, if it had to let go of its thinking mind, if it had to let go and face the emptiness, the resulting emptiness in its entirety, it's trying to avoid that at all costs. It doesn't want to be wiped out. It doesn't want to be annihilated. It doesn't want to face the death that has to go through in order to have the spiritual awakening. And that's because of the price. There's a cost to it. The cost is to let go of our beliefs, to at least suspend temporarily all of our beliefs, including the belief that we have no value. Now, that can be very painful, but the soul is a miracle of epic proportions. The awakening is it's infinite and eternal value, and that's the value that we've been seeking all of our lives. It's inherent, it's innate, it's inbuilt, it's expanding all the time. Our value is one with infinite and eternal preciousness. That's who and what we are. That's the truth. And without knowing this, without being able to feel it, it doesn't do us any good. Like, that's why people run around saying, oh, I'm worthless, you're worthless, there's no value anywhere. And that's why we have so many wars. That's why this earth is in such a mess. And it's been like that for thousands of years. You can look through history, and it's only getting worse. It's snowballing out of control. Somehow we think it's okay to believe that we have no value. It's okay to live our lives like that and pass that down to future generations. That's a desecration to humanity. That's a detriment to humanity. We're putting scars and wounding our own humanity, our own flesh and blood, our own race, our own children, passing that down through all the generations, thinking somehow it's okay to believe that we're worthless, to have no self-worth, lack of self-worth. That's not, and this is unconscious now. This is not, most people don't think about this, but this is an unconscious attitude, an unconscious stance that we take because we don't know any better. We don't know that the soul is the source of our value. It is value in itself, and we are one with this. That's the message that I'm trying to portray here. But somehow or other, what's more important is that we believe that we're worthless, and we continue to believe that's the dead end, and we have to hang on to that. And that there can be no other way. There's no other possibilities, and that's the problem. We think that's it. That's the end of the story. The soul. I propose that's the beginning of the story, because the soul is the value we're seeking for. And the way that we experience this value is going through the feeling of having no value, of feeling worthless. The identity in the mind, all it's trying to do is avoid and repress the feeling of no value. It says it's judging itself for feeling worthless. And it's a very tender area, a very tender place. We're all hurt by this unconscious belief that we have no value. We all walk around wounded unconsciously. And we know we've lost something, like the transition from childhood to adulthood. We feel we've lost something important. We know something is missing. And we go through our lives like this and thinking that's normal. It's not normal. The feeling of worthlessness is there to tell us something. It's not to be ignored. It's not to be brushed aside. It's not to be, we have no objective value. Our subjectivity doesn't matter. That's bullshit. Okay? Our subjectivity, our feelings matter. They're important. We need to pay attention because we have subjective, so people are always like, oh, it's only our objective value that matters. Our subjective value has no place. That's not true, because without our subjectivity, we wouldn't be able to experience objectivity. They're hand in hand. They're both together. We can't have one without the other. Otherwise, we're getting half truth. And that's kind of what the problem is. We think the dead end is there's no value, objectively speaking. Subjectively, yes, but we're only getting half truth. We only get half the truth. We don't know that we are infinite, one, and eternal value. We are one with value. The soul is a miracle of epic proportions. To be able to feel this, to be able to feel the feeling of self-worth in the liberation, in the power of liberation, is exactly what we need to be able to heal from these unconscious wounds of having no value. We can't continue to go through our lives thinking it's okay to do this. I have a message to give, and this is important for people to understand. And I have a calling to be able to stand up and speak this truth to people, because people need this. Now, if you want to make up your mind and say, okay, there's no value anywhere and that's it and that's the end, that's on you. All right. But if there's another avenue, if there's another way to see things, if there's another possibility, if you don't allow that possibility, then you have issues and you're digging your own grave and you're putting yourself in that grave and you're never going to be able to get out. So all I'm saying is give ourselves an opening, give ourselves a chance to experience the truth. experience spiritual awakening. And the soul is a miracle of epic proportions. It's absolutely imperative that we understand that there's a path to the soul, and we need to experience that path for ourselves, to walk the path, to live it as a lifestyle. The soul is a miracle of epic proportions. It's as big as the universe, as big as God, as big as heaven. All these things, all of the treasures, all of the richness that we've been looking for in our lives, immeasurable preciousness is there. The soul is a miracle of epic proportions. We need to know this. This is important. People need to know their worth. Living without self-worth is not sustainable. This is John Dominique, the Soul Proponent. Leave messages, leave comments, ask questions. Subscribe to my channel, John Dominique, the Soul Proponent.